Ladies and gentlemen, today we gather to celebrate a name that echoes inspiration, determination, and an unshakable belief in the power of purpose, Joe Ranga. When we say born for greatness, we do not speak of destiny handed out freely. We speak of a journey carved with courage, discipline, and a heart that refuses to settle for anything less than excellence. Joe Ranga's story is not just a life, it is a message. A message that greatness is not found in comfort, but in rising each time life knocks you down. It is found in the quiet moments when no one is watching, when discipline becomes stronger than excuses and vision becomes louder than fear. From humble beginnings to commanding respect through pure effort, Joe has proven that leadership is not about titles. It is about influence, integrity, and the ability to lift others as you rise. His life teaches us that the world bows only to those who work harder, dream bigger, and stand taller in the face of adversity. Joe Ranga's greatness lies not only in what he has accomplished, but in the fire he lights within others. He shows us that obstacles are simply opportunities wearing disguises, and that success belongs to those who refuse to give up even when every door seems closed. He reminds us that every one of us carries the seed of greatness, but it takes courage to plant it, discipline to nurture it, and resilience to see it bloom. Joe Ranga planted his seed early, and today the world watches the tree of his legacy grow stronger, taller, and more inspiring with each passing day. So let this speech be more than words, let it be a spark. Let it remind you that your greatness is waiting. Joe Ranga didn't wait for permission, he created his path. And so can you. Because greatness is not a birthright, it is a choice. A choice Joe Ranga makes every single day. And a choice we must dare to make as well. Greatness always begins in the mind long before it becomes a reality, and for Joe Ranga, this truth shaped the foundation of his entire journey. From an early age, Joe understood that the world is transformed not by those who accept limits, but by those who imagine possibilities no one else can see. His vision was not confined to his surroundings or circumstances. Instead, it stretched far beyond what others thought was reasonable or realistic. Joe believed that a powerful vision is the fuel that drives extraordinary achievement. He did not wait for opportunities to come to him. He created them by daring to dream beyond the boundaries placed before him. While many people allow doubt or fear to shrink their ambitions, Joe expanded his. He trained his mind to focus on what could be, not what currently was. This mindset became the compass that guided every choice, every sacrifice, and every step toward greatness. He constantly visualized a future where success was not just hoped for, but inevitable through effort and determination. This vision was not a mere wish, it was a strategy. Joe used it to set clear goals, build a strong purpose, and stay focused even during the toughest challenges. Whenever life tried to limit him, he responded by growing his vision even bigger. A vision beyond limits also meant that Joe never allowed others' expectations to define him. If people said something was impossible, it only strengthened his resolve. He knew that the world often doubts those who dream boldly because bold dreams threaten ordinary thinking. Joe was not afraid to stand alone if it meant standing for something meaningful. With this limitless vision, Joe Ranga cultivated the courage to take risks, the discipline to stay persistent, and the confidence to pursue dreams that seemed unreachable to others. His life shows that vision is not just an idea, it is the blueprint of greatness. When you can see what others cannot, you can achieve what others only imagine. One of the most defining qualities of Joe Ranga's journey is his unwavering commitment to discipline, a trait that consistently outweighed comfort in every stage of his life. Joe understood early that comfort is the silent enemy of progress. While comfort keeps most people still, discipline pushes a person forward, shaping habits, sharpening focus, and turning ordinary effort into extraordinary results. For Joe, discipline wasn't just a routine, it was a lifestyle. He believed that greatness is not built in the moments when motivation is high, but in the quiet hours when no one is watching, when the choice between staying comfortable or staying committed appears. Time and time again, Joe chose commitment. Whether it was waking up earlier than everyone else, practicing longer, or studying harder, he built a daily rhythm that strengthened his character and sharpened his abilities. Joe knew that the path to success is crowded with excuses. It is filled with moments where giving up feels easier and staying consistent feels impossible. But he trained himself to silence those excuses. He learned to do what needed to be done, even when he didn't feel like doing it. This personal discipline became his greatest weapon, stronger than talent, stronger than luck, and stronger than any obstacle placed in his path. Instead of chasing quick results, he prioritized long-term growth. He understood that lasting success comes from small efforts repeated day after day. In a world where people seek shortcuts, Joe embraced the long, difficult road because he knew that discipline eventually rewards those who remain faithful to their goals. Every challenge he faced became an opportunity to strengthen his self-control. Every setback became a test of his resilience. And every victory was the direct result of hours, days, and years spent choosing discipline over comfort. His consistency built momentum, his habits built confidence, and his routines built the foundation for the greatness he is known for today. Joe Ranga's example proves that greatness is not reserved for the naturally gifted. It belongs to those who master themselves. Discipline transformed him from someone with dreams into someone capable of achieving them. It created a mindset of excellence that carried him through moments when comfort would have stopped him. One of the greatest strengths that defines Joe Ranga is his ability to rise. Not once, not twice, but every single time life tries to push him down. Joe's journey was never a straight, smooth path. It was a road carved through challenges, disappointments, and unexpected failures. Yet each fall became a lesson, and each setback became a source of power that pushed him further than before. Joe understood that failure is not the opposite of success. It is a part of it. Every great person in history has stumbled, struggled, and faced moments of doubt, but only the truly great learn how to stand up stronger. Joe lived by this truth. When something didn't go as planned, he didn't break. He didn't complain. He didn't allow frustration to take over. Instead, he looked at the situation, learned from it, and used it as fuel to rebuild himself with even more determination. There were moments when the weight of difficulty was enough to make most people walk away. Times when the path ahead seemed too steep, the obstacles too heavy, and the progress too slow. But Joe refused to let temporary failures make permanent decisions for him. He kept going even when the odds were against him. He kept believing even when success seemed far away. He kept moving forward because he understood that resilience is the true measure of inner strength. Every fall tested Joe's character. It tested his patience, his willpower, and his belief in himself. But every time he rose with more confidence, more experience, and more clarity than before. These moments shaped him into someone unshakable. Someone who knew that setbacks are not signals to stop but signals to grow. Joe's ability to rise after every fall created a mindset of unstoppable resilience. It taught him that life will always challenge you, but it will never defeat you unless you allow it. He learned to embrace struggle as part of the journey, to see obstacles not as walls but as stepping stones designed to lift him to the next level of greatness. Leadership is often misunderstood as a position, a title, or a moment of authority, but for Joe Ranga, leadership is something much deeper, much more meaningful. He believes that true leadership is not about commanding others, but about inspiring them through character, values, and unwavering integrity. Joe's leadership is built on the foundation of who he is, not what he has. People follow him not because they must, but because they trust him, respect him, and believe in the principles he stands for. Integrity has always been the core of Joe's leadership style. In a world where many cut corners, chase shortcuts, and compromise on values for quick results, Joe chose a different path. He chose honesty over convenience. He chose fairness over favoritism. He chose responsibility over excuses. This consistency in his actions, whether in public or in private, made him someone others could rely on. People knew that his words carried meaning, and his promises carried weight. Joe led by example. Instead of asking others to work harder, he worked hardest. Instead of expecting excellence, he demonstrated it. His actions were his strongest message, and his behavior served as the blueprint for everyone around him. Whenever challenges arose, Joe remained calm, focused, and ethical, proving that leaders are defined not during easy times but during difficult ones. His leadership was never about personal glory. It was about lifting others, guiding them, and helping them become the best version of themselves. Joe understood that a true leader doesn't create followers. A true leader creates more leaders. He took time to listen, to mentor, to encourage, and to support those around him. He celebrated their successes as if they were his own and stood by them during their struggles. Joe's integrity also gave him the courage to make tough decisions. He was never afraid to stand alone if it meant standing for what was right. He knew that leadership sometimes requires choosing the harder path, the path of truth, fairness, and accountability. Others admired him for this because integrity is rare, and those who carry it command authentic respect. Through his example, Joe Ranga proved that leadership is not measured by how many people serve you, but by how many people you serve. His character became his influence, his honesty became his strength, and his integrity became the reason people believed in him even before they believed in themselves. One of the most remarkable qualities that separates Joe Ranga from the ordinary is his ability to transform challenges into opportunities. While many people see obstacles as barriers that stop progress, Joe views them as hidden lessons, disguised openings, and stepping stones that can elevate a person to new heights. His approach is rooted in a mindset that refuses to be intimidated by difficulty and instead chooses to examine every challenge with curiosity, courage, and determination. Throughout his journey, Joe encountered situations that would have discouraged most people. Moments of uncertainty, situations that seemed unfair, and setbacks that demanded emotional and mental strength. But instead of allowing these moments to weaken him or slow him down, he used them as fuel. He understood that difficult times reveal strengths that remain hidden during comfort. Every obstacle he faced sharpened his mind, strengthened his resolve, and increased his ability to adapt. Joe studied his challenges rather than running from them. He asked himself what each obstacle could teach him, how it could build his skill set, and how it could be used to refine his strategy. This thoughtful approach allowed him to grow even when circumstances were harsh. He turned frustration into focus and disappointment into a new plan of action. His resilience came from realizing that challenges are not meant to break you, they are meant to prepare you. Another powerful aspect of Joe's mindset was his ability to stay calm under pressure. When others panicked or gave up, Joe took a moment to breathe, analyze, and find hidden possibilities. He believed that clarity is born in calmness and that solutions reveal themselves to those who refuse to be overwhelmed. This made him not only a strong individual but also a source of stability and inspiration for those around him. Joe also recognized that challenges force innovation. When the usual path was blocked, he built a new one. When resources were limited, he became more creative. When time was short, he became more efficient. Each challenge pushed him to rise above his comfort zone and discover abilities he didn't even realize he possessed. Over time, this approach transformed Joe's entire perspective. He no longer feared challenges, he welcomed them. He saw every setback as temporary and every difficulty as a gateway to growth. This mindset not only strengthened his personal journey but also inspired others to rethink their relationship with adversity. Joe proved through his actions that success is not about having an easy path. It is about having the strength to turn a hard path into an opportunity for greatness. One of the most powerful aspects of Joe Ranga's journey is the way he inspires others, not through grand speeches or dramatic moments, but through the quiet, consistent strength of his actions. Joe understands that real influence is not about telling people what to do. It is about showing them what is possible. His life became a living example of dedication, resilience, and purpose, motivating countless individuals to believe in themselves and strive for something greater. Joe never set out to impress others. He focused entirely on improving himself, staying disciplined, and honoring his values. Yet, without trying, he became a role model. People saw his work ethic, his determination, and his refusal to give up, even when success seemed far away. They saw the sacrifices he made and the standards he held himself to. This authenticity is what inspired others most. It wasn't artificial motivation, it was real, lived, and proven. He believed that every action sends a message. When he woke up early to work on his goals, he sent a message about commitment. When he pushed through difficult days, he sent a message about resilience. When he stayed honest, disciplined, and focused even when no one was watching, he sent a message about character. Joe's actions taught people that greatness is a lifestyle, not a moment. People naturally felt drawn to his energy. They saw someone who was not perfect but someone who continuously tried. Someone who stumbled but always stood up again. Someone who faced fear but moved forward anyway. This kind of courage becomes contagious. Joe's actions encouraged others to believe that if he could rise from difficulty, so could they. If he could improve himself day by day, then change was possible for anyone willing to work for it. Joe also inspired others by sharing what he learned, not through preaching but through guidance and example. He listened to people, supported them, and helped them see their own potential. He encouraged others to develop discipline, discover their strengths, and pursue their dreams with confidence. He uplifted people not by doing things for them, but by showing them how to rise on their own. His leadership style made others feel seen, valued, and capable. Joe showed that the true measure of greatness lies not in how high you climb, but in how many people you lift along the way. And he lifted many, not by force but by demonstrating what relentless effort and belief can achieve. Ultimately, Joe Ranga inspired others because he lived the message he shared. His journey became proof that actions speak louder than words, and that the most powerful motivation comes from witnessing someone who embodies the values they stand for. A defining trait of Joe Ranga's greatness is his unwavering commitment to lifelong growth. While many people stop improving once they reach a certain level of success, Joe understood that true excellence has no finish line. Growth is not something you achieve once, it is something you pursue every day. This mindset allowed him to evolve continuously, refine his skills, and stay ahead in a world that changes at lightning speed. Joe never saw himself as a finished product. Instead, he saw himself as a constant work in progress. He knew that every new skill learned, every new lesson understood, and every new experience lived would contribute to the person he was becoming. This humility, the willingness to remain a student even at moments of achievement, became one of his greatest strengths. He dedicated time to learning, whether through books, mentors, practice, mistakes, or observation. Joe believed that knowledge was not just information, it was power. Power to make better decisions. Power to handle difficult situations. Power to unlock hidden opportunities. He made personal development a priority, not an option. Joe also embraced change rather than resisting it. Instead of fearing new challenges or unfamiliar territory, he saw them as invitations to grow. He understood that comfort creates stagnation, while growth requires stepping into the unknown. When new skills were needed, Joe learned them. When old methods stopped working, he adapted. When life shifted direction, he shifted with it. This flexibility made him strong, capable, and resilient. Another powerful part of Joe's commitment to growth was his ability to reflect. He regularly analyzed his own actions, habits, and decisions, not to criticize himself but to improve himself. He asked important questions. What did I learn today? What could I do better? What is holding me back? What can I change? This level of self-awareness allowed him to grow faster and smarter than those who ignored their weaknesses. And perhaps most importantly, Joe surrounded himself with people who supported growth. He sought out mentors who challenged him, friends who shared his vision, and environments that inspired ambition. He knew that growth thrives in the right atmosphere. By placing himself among people who encouraged excellence, he elevated his mindset, his confidence, and his abilities. Joe Ranga's commitment to lifelong growth shows that greatness is not about staying the same. It is about becoming more. More skilled, more disciplined, more knowledgeable, more focused. His journey is proof that success is built not by one big leap, but by thousands of small steps taken consistently over time. One of the most profound lessons from Joe Ranga's life is that greatness is not something you are simply born with. It is a conscious choice that each person makes every single day. While talent and circumstances may give some people a head start, Joe's journey proves that true success is earned through deliberate decisions, consistent effort, and the courage to take responsibility for your own life. Greatness is not handed out, it is claimed. Joe recognized early that many people wait for permission to succeed or for luck to favor them. They look for signs, opportunities, or approval from others, but Joe understood that waiting is the enemy of action. He decided to take control of his destiny, choosing to act, learn, and persist regardless of external conditions. Every decision he made reflected his commitment to rise above mediocrity and strive for something extraordinary. This choice required discipline, sacrifice, and resilience. Joe understood that choosing greatness meant saying no to distractions, no to excuses, and sometimes even no to temporary comfort. It meant enduring struggles, facing fears, and making difficult decisions that most people avoid. Yet he embraced these challenges willingly, knowing that each choice strengthened his character and brought him closer to his goals. Joe also understood that greatness is not a one-time achievement but a continuous series of decisions. It is in the small, consistent actions performed day after day that greatness takes shape. By choosing to push himself when it was easier to give up, to learn when it was easier to remain ignorant, and to act when it was easier to hesitate, Joe transformed ordinary moments into stepping stones toward extraordinary results. Moreover, he believed that choosing greatness also meant lifting others as you rise. It is not merely personal success, it is a responsibility to inspire, mentor, and impact others positively. Joe's decisions were guided not only by ambition but by a purpose, to create a life that would inspire those around him to choose greatness for themselves. Ultimately, Joe Ranga's life demonstrates that greatness is not a fixed attribute, a stroke of luck, or a hereditary gift. It is a mindset, a habit, and above all, a deliberate choice. Every day offers a chance to choose action over inaction, courage over fear, and excellence over complacency. And it is this conscious decision-making repeated relentlessly that turns a life into a story of greatness. If you want, I can now combine all 8 expanded key points into a single, flowing, long-form speech suitable for a motivational presentation or YouTube video. This will give you a complete, powerful speech on Joe Ranga, born for greatness. Beyond discipline, resilience, and action, one of Joe Ranga's most remarkable qualities is his ability to think ahead, to see possibilities where others see obstacles, and to imagine a future far beyond the present reality. Visionary thinking is what sets him apart from ordinary achievers. It is not merely about having goals, it is about seeing a bigger picture, understanding long-term consequences, and planning strategically for success that lasts. Joe approaches challenges and opportunities with foresight. He evaluates situations not only for their immediate impact but for the ripple effects they can create in the future. This skill allows him to anticipate problems before they arise, to pivot when necessary, and to seize opportunities that others often overlook. Visionary thinking requires creativity, strategic planning, and the courage to act on ideas before they are universally accepted, and Joe excels at all three. This way of thinking also enables him to inspire and lead others. By sharing a clear vision of what can be achieved, Joe motivates people to align their efforts, believe in the mission, and work collectively toward a common goal. His visionary mindset gives people hope and direction, turning uncertainty into possibility and fear into motivation. Moreover, Joe understands that visionary thinking is a skill cultivated through curiosity, learning, and observation. He constantly seeks new ideas, explores different perspectives, and studies trends that can shape his journey. By doing so, he ensures that his vision remains relevant, practical, and actionable, not just a dream floating in the abstract. Ultimately, Joe Ranga demonstrates that greatness is not only about action, resilience, or discipline, it is also about the ability to see beyond the present, to imagine what others cannot, and to turn vision into reality. His foresight and planning create a roadmap that guides his life and inspires everyone around him to aim higher and think bigger. Another defining trait of Joe Ranga's greatness is his relentless pursuit of excellence. Excellence for him is not a destination or a title. It is a habit, a mindset, and a standard that guides every action he takes. Joe understands that greatness is not measured by moments of success, but by consistent effort, attention to detail, and the continuous desire to improve in every aspect of life. Joe never settles for mediocrity, even when circumstances make it easy to do so. He holds himself accountable to the highest standards, demanding the best from himself in every task, decision, and interaction. Whether it is in personal development, professional achievements, or relationships, Joe applies the same rigor and discipline, understanding that true excellence requires consistency, patience, and a refusal to compromise. His pursuit of excellence is fueled by a mindset that every task, no matter how small, contributes to the larger picture of success. He treats challenges as opportunities to perform at his best, no matter how difficult the situation. This attention to detail and commitment to quality sets him apart from others and builds a reputation for reliability, mastery, and influence. Joe also believes that excellence is contagious. By striving to be his best self, he motivates others around him to elevate their own performance. His standards do not intimidate but inspire, creating an environment where growth, innovation, and achievement flourish. People learn from his example that consistent effort, discipline, and high expectations are the cornerstones of success. Moreover, his relentless pursuit of excellence includes a dedication to lifelong learning. Joe is constantly seeking new knowledge, refining his skills, and exploring innovative approaches. He understands that excellence is not static. It evolves as he grows, adapts, and becomes more capable. For him, the journey toward excellence is ongoing, and each step forward is an investment in a legacy that transcends personal achievement. Joe Ranga's life teaches us that excellence is not luck, talent, or coincidence. It is a deliberate, continuous choice. It is the product of focus, discipline, resilience, and a refusal to settle for anything less than the highest standard. Through this relentless pursuit, he not only achieves greatness for himself but inspires others to reach their highest potential. Another hallmark of Joe Ranga's journey to greatness is his extraordinary courage to take risks. True success rarely comes from staying within the comfort zone. It is born from the willingness to step into uncertainty, face fear, and embrace challenges that others might avoid. Joe understood early on that risk is not something to fear, but something to manage intelligently, and that calculated risks often lead to the most rewarding outcomes. Joe's courage is not impulsive, it is deliberate. He studies situations carefully, evaluates potential consequences, and balances ambition with strategy. Yet he does not allow fear of failure to paralyze him. Instead, he views risk as a necessary component of growth, a bridge between where he is today and where he wants to be tomorrow. Every bold decision he has made in life has been guided by this mindset, to see possibility where others see danger, and to act despite uncertainty. Throughout his journey, Joe faced moments where the stakes were high, times when failure could have been costly, socially, financially, or emotionally. Most people would retreat in such situations, but Joe stepped forward. He embraced discomfort, knowing that real progress comes when you dare to venture into the unknown. Each risk taken added valuable experience, strengthened his confidence, and opened doors that would have otherwise remained closed. Taking risks also allowed Joe to innovate and think creatively. By venturing into uncharted territory, he discovered new solutions, developed unique strategies, and created opportunities that others had not imagined. His courage inspired those around him to confront their own fears and push beyond the limitations they had accepted. Moreover, Joe's approach to risk highlights an important lesson. Failure is not the opposite of success but an essential part of it. Even when a risk does not yield the desired outcome, it provides insight, builds resilience, and strengthens the foundation for future achievements. Joe learned to embrace both success and failure as equally valuable teachers in the pursuit of greatness. Through his courage to take risks, Joe Ranga demonstrates that bold action is a defining trait of extraordinary people. Success is rarely achieved without stepping into uncertainty, and greatness is never attained without daring to challenge the status quo, to test your limits, and to act decisively when it matters most. Another defining aspect of Joe Ranga's greatness is his unwavering commitment to creating a meaningful impact through service. He believes that true success is not measured solely by personal achievements or wealth, but by the positive difference one makes in the lives of others. Joe's journey demonstrates that greatness is amplified when it is shared, when your skills, influence, and energy are used to uplift, empower, and inspire those around you. Joe approaches service with intentionality. He does not give out of obligation or for recognition. He gives because he understands the transformative power of helping others. Whether it is through mentoring, guiding, or supporting people in their personal and professional growth, Joe consistently invests his time and energy to make a lasting impact. His actions reflect the philosophy that real leaders are measured not by how many follow them, but by how many they lift up along the way. Service, for Joe, is also about responsibility. He recognizes that the more influence and resources one gains, the greater the duty to use them wisely. He has consciously chosen to leverage his achievements and knowledge to create opportunities for others, to open doors that might have remained closed, and to share lessons learned from his journey. This approach has made him a beacon of inspiration for many who seek guidance, motivation, and a model for purposeful living. Joe also understands that impact is cumulative. Small acts of service, repeated consistently, build trust, foster growth, and create a ripple effect that reaches far beyond immediate circles. By consistently serving others, he builds communities of empowerment, instills confidence in people, and ignites the drive for them to pursue their own greatness. Moreover, service has shaped Joe's own growth. By focusing on helping others, he has developed empathy, strengthened his leadership, and gained invaluable perspectives that have enhanced his decision-making and vision. The process of giving back has created a cycle where his influence grows while simultaneously cultivating a stronger, more resilient character. Through his dedication to impact through service, Joe Ranga shows that greatness is not solely about what you achieve for yourself, but about how your achievements touch the lives of others. Service transforms success into legacy, ambition into purpose, and effort into lasting value for the world. At the very core of Joe Ranga's journey to greatness lies an unwavering belief in himself. This belief is not arrogance, nor is it blind confidence. It is a deep, steadfast trust in his abilities, his vision, and his capacity to overcome any obstacle. Joe understands that self-belief is the foundation upon which all success is built. Without it, discipline, hard work, and ambition cannot reach their full potential. From the earliest stages of his life, Joe faced doubts, both from within and from others. There were moments when circumstances seemed insurmountable, when opportunities were scarce, and when the opinions of others threatened to undermine his confidence. Yet, Joe chose to trust himself regardless. He recognized that external validation is temporary and often unreliable, but inner conviction is enduring. This self-belief became the guiding force that kept him moving forward, even when the path was unclear. Joe's belief in himself fueled his resilience. When he faced failure or rejection, he refused to internalize it as a reflection of his worth or potential. Instead, he used these moments to reinforce his confidence and refine his approach. He knew that setbacks were part of the journey, not the verdict on his abilities. This mindset allowed him to persevere where others might have given up, and to see opportunities in situations where others saw only obstacles. Moreover, self-belief empowered Joe to take bold actions and embrace risks. Knowing his own capabilities allowed him to make decisions with courage and clarity, trusting that he had the strength and intelligence to navigate challenges successfully. This confidence inspired those around him as well, creating a ripple effect where people began to believe not only in Joe but also in their own potential to achieve greatness. Joe's unwavering belief in self is closely tied to his vision and purpose. He knows that greatness is a combination of effort, strategy, and confidence. By holding firm to his belief, he ensures that his actions align with his long-term goals, his values, and his mission in life. This alignment between belief and action is what transforms dreams into reality. Through his life, Joe Ranga demonstrates that self-belief is not merely a mindset. It is a practice, a discipline, and a daily commitment. It is the inner force that sustains you through adversity, guides you in moments of uncertainty, and empowers you to pursue extraordinary achievements without hesitation. His journey teaches that greatness begins with believing in yourself, a truth that is as powerful as it is essential for anyone seeking to leave a lasting impact on the world. Joe Ranga's journey is a reminder that greatness is not a gift reserved for a few, but a choice available to anyone willing to pursue it with courage, discipline, and heart. His life shows us that challenges are not roadblocks but stepping stones, that setbacks are lessons in disguise, and that true influence comes from integrity, service, and inspiring others through action. As we reflect on his story, let us remember this: each of us carries the seed of greatness within. It is up to us to nurture it, to take bold steps, to embrace learning, to serve others, and to believe in ourselves, even when the world doubts us. Joe Ranga didn't wait for permission, luck, or ease. He created his path, rose stronger from every fall, and became a beacon of inspiration. And so can we. Let his journey ignite the fire within you, reminding you that your choices, your courage, and your perseverance will define your legacy. The world awaits your greatness. Just as Joe Ranga chose his, now it is your turn to rise, act, and leave a mark that will be remembered for generations.